Hello, you're listening to the Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we will be discussing the Season 3 finale, 30% Iron Chef.
With your hosts, Pete Woodward.
That's me.
Guest co-host Bill Squire.
Hey. And Tommy Roulette.
Hi.
Joining us today is our special guest. I believe this is a three-peat, Dan Holahan. Hello.
Fuck you, Dan.
Fuck you, Dan. I forgot that part. The reason, and I got to ask, actually, welcome back to the show, Dan.
Hey, thanks, Pete.
Three-peat guest.
Three-peat.
You're getting into some rarefied air like Bill here. There's not many people that have been on very often. But the background on the "fuck you, Dan" phrase, is that started from when you quit the Zap Guns?
Oh, I
Or did
didn't
it
think
start
about
before that?
I don't know.
I thought it was just because we hate Dan.
Yeah, I thought it was because you all just hated me.
No, I
But
just...
to be fair, when I quit the Zap Guns, that is the first time that all of my friends told me "fuck you, Dan."
We had a giant banner.
Once.
Yeah, that was what I was getting to.
And
Is
even
it-
Stosh put it on the wall at the Spitfire.
at your final show with the Zap Guns, there was a big banner that said "fuck you, Dan."
It's in my basement.
And your wife, your adorable wife, was in tears, not because people were telling you to fuck yourself. She was in tears because she's like, his friends love him so much. They just love him so much, and it's wonderful. It was the most adorable thing. I mean, she was bawling.
She was.
At a sign telling her husband to fuck off. It was wonderful. I liked this episode a lot.
I liked about the first third of it a lot.
Are you
A
kidding?
lot. I liked the episode in general, but I liked the first third of it a lot.
The end of the episode,
The B story. That's what I liked of it.
the
The Zoidberg stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. The stuff that we'll get to it, but this was an incredibly strong finish for the third season. I was very satisfied with it.
Starts right off with Morbo and Linda, though.
No, Tom. It starts off with a Jumbotron cartoon of a lion
Oh, yeah,
biting a
that's right.
guy's head off.
Toys will be toys.
Is that the same one where the people were skating off of Bob Hope's head?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I want the drugs they had in the 1940s. I don't know if it was like CIA created LSD or just straight up amphetamine or what, but whoever was drawing these cartoons, whether it was from like shell shock PTSD or what, it's crazy. Like, it's predating psychedelics, and it's just
1949.
It was
Yeah.
racism and bigotry.
well, in the Bosco cartoons and stuff. But this is just like there was a scene from the same cartoon. I don't know, sometime
But
during
also,
this season.
it wasn't PC back then, It was a little PC stuff.
But there was a scene on the Jumbotron of a toy Bob Hope head with dolls like skiing off it like a ski slope, and it was on wheels, and it was just completely fucked up. Where like I don't even know how you'd put that all together, and just be like what you'd have to be on or how wasted you'd have to be to just be like, oh yeah. Well, then there's somebody skating off his head, and then you go right into the mountain over here, and oh shit, this lion's gonna bite off his head. Oh, it was a real weird thing, and kind of violent. Do you think there's any symbolism in that decapitation, Tom?
I think it was toys on an assembly line or something like that, and then the line just turned around and bit the soldier's head off, or whatever it was. Guy like bowing. I don't know. I was looking it up. There's a lot of cartoons since then called Toys Will Be Toys.
That's
There's one starring Baby Tom and Jerry.
really. Is that like the less gritty reboot from the 90s, where the like Tom and Jerry of Baby Tom and Jerry, was that like a cohort
Tom
of
and
Muppet
Jerry
babies?
kids, they were
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry kids.
Yeah. So I mean, I never really thought about that until just now, but now everything gets a gritty reboot, and back then everything was made
gritty
cuter.
reboot of Tom and Jerry.
No. In the 90s, I guess, early 90s or maybe late 80s, everything was like cuted up to make it more palatable for kids, and now they just take kid stuff and make it like way more, messed up and dirty and gross.
Yeah, I thought you were saying you were calling for a gritty reboot of Tom and Jerry, which I would be all in on.
Wasn't that what Itchy and Scratchy was basically?
Yeah, we only got short episodes.
Yeah.
So if they just made that a standalone show, then that'd be great.
Even
All
a movie.
CGI.
but like with like an Andy
But
Serkis.
like Jungle Book CGI, like that new live action Jungle Book movie, where they like tried to make him look real.
That'd be great.
All fucking in on that.
I'm gonna think on this some. I think you might be onto something, Dan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who would voice them?
Well, they don't.
They
They
really
shouldn't
talk that
talk.
often,
Oh yeah, that's right.
They shouldn't, but they did. Like there was a movie in the late '80s or early '90s where they did talk, which was weird.
would that be more transgressive and therefore grittier if they did talk? Like if you had Samuel L. Jackson
If they
voice
were
Tom,
no, if they were silent killers, it would be perfect.
like
Could it also have like the classical music in it, like the old cartoon, but
think
just
that
be
would make it
super
so great,
violent?
yeah. But look incredibly real too.
well, I get it could be like,
Like a
Like-
real house cat setting up these traps.
Yeah.
and then
try
people just
and-
getting killed like Saw.
Yeah.
You guys, we're gonna be millionaires.
I gotta go
Yeah,
call
cut this
a-
out so we can Shark Tank this.
I gotta call a director. Hang on. So I really like. I think it was the first episode that Sebastian King was on way back in season 1 when we got introduced to Morbo and Linda.
Yeah.
And I can understand why Morbo has become his favorite character because the juxtaposition of him in like Regis Philbin type settings and this like going from zero to rage.
My first note is Morbo equals Regis.
Yeah, but like the immediate like "Roar" that comes out of him, I can identify with that like so much. Just
But the reaction to everyone else, like that everyone else has to Morbo, where they're just like, "Oh, that's Morbo,"
yeah.
like that's the best part of it. Where Linda just goes,
I also like the in that segment when the Elzar like makes the Lovecraftian horror from the
It's
cosmos
the
or something.
I'm gonna cook a nice unnameable horror
Oh,
from
yeah,
beyond with mango chutney.
And he opens
This-
the lid,
And then, yeah,
it
it's
just
like the color out of space.
It's all X-rayed.
and this is an episode that is beyond, like it's ahead of its time in that, like the foodie craze didn't really happen. I feel like till Instagram. Like I mean, I know it was happening, but like it became very mainstream.
Oh, yeah, for
once
sure.
people could take pictures of their food and be like, "Look at what I'm eating," and it's so incredible.
I think
but
that
it
was
was
like
it was very like I'd never heard of mango chutney. I didn't watch any food
Well,
shows.
you were in like Medina or something in 19.
yeah, but I also didn't watch any food shows either. Like I
Yeah,
didn't
well,
care.
it was just like that the Food Network was basically like primetime programming and everything else was just like 40-year-old PBS shows.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I loved about this so much is because at the time this was airing, like that's almost all I watched was the Food Channel, especially Iron Chef. Like I would make sure I was home at 10 o'clock Friday nights to watch a new episode of a new 10-year-old episode or whatever of Iron Chef ported over from Japan.
Weren't you in bands?
In 90, well, this is what, 2001? 2002. Yes, but at that point, the main one I was in was basically just touring like once a year for a little bit. So it wasn't real active. I think our drummer had moved away. So it was kind of slow, but I would if I wasn't home, I'd videotape it or DVR it because like I was obsessed with Iron Chef, and we'll get to that later. But like, I have so many positive feelings for this episode just by the time they get to that thing at the end.
I don't think I've ever watched a single episode.
No, me
Oh
neither.
my god!
I haven't either.
Oh my god! I might have to do a spin-off podcast about like the original Japanese Iron Chef episodes because it does something to me. Makes me tingle all
Clearly.
over.
Making your pants tight.
A little bit. I mean, that and
Is it poop or boner?
can it be both at the same time?
First one, then the other.
I mean, one begets the other, and on and on. It's sort of an Ouroboros type
I find
thing.
cooking shows horribly boring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Like I can't
Yeah.
stand them.
I love eating food.
Yes.
I just don't care how it's made.
Well, okay, so
I don't even like making food that I'm going to eat. I'd rather
Neither.
have somebody else prepare it.
so what kind of? I mean, like any kind of cooking shows, or
There's
Yes.
some cooking show that I watched. Oh no, never mind. It was a stupid Amy Schumer skit on her show where drunk and they have to make something. It's like that. There's some show where it's like you only have certain ingredients to make something in your
Chopped.
house. Yeah, chopped.
Yeah.
But it's like the drunk version. So you come home drunk from the bar. And then you have like just whatever's in your cupboard in your fridge to make something, and you have to use whatever. And that I was like, I'd watch that, but that wasn't.
You know
real.
what I made for lunch today? Ramen noodles with peanut butter and fresh pork rinds from the Mexican grocery store. It was delicious. It made me feel sick after eating it, but it tasted so good.
Did you take a picture of it for Instagram?
No, I don't do that.
Okay.
No, I mean, like I did for about this much time, and I was like, you know what? Every other asshole is doing this too. I don't need to do this right now.
He just
unless
takes
it's really
Polaroids
remarkable.
now.
Well, you gotta,
He
you
has
know,
a
you gotta
secret
stay
room
one step
upstairs.
ahead.
It's just filled with food he's eating.
I mean, so like I get with like it's a show where it's like, okay, we're gonna make a recipe right now. That's kind of boring, and usually it does. What it does mostly is it makes me feel like I want to eat that now, and I can't. So you've created this disturbance in the force, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, I hate that.
But like, I really like sort of travelogue type shows. People seem to have turned on Anthony Bourdain a little bit, but like generally, if he goes somewhere, I was like, check this shit out. It usually aligns pretty well with what I'd be into anyway. And because I travel so much, it's nice to have at least like some things to sort of pick out ahead of time and go like, I want to try this or see something related to that.
I believe Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations, was on the Travel Channel, not the Cooking Channel.
He's been on a bunch though. It's like he's on CNN now, so it's
But I
not
believe his big break was on the Travel Channel.
possible. Probable.
I watched that,
no, it
and
is.
like I like to have people go to places and eat things.
Yeah.
I just don't want to watch them make it.
Now, all of that being
Or
said,
be in a contest where they have to compete against someone else. I just never.
that's the basis of Iron Chef, though.
I know,
Yeah.
and that's why I never watched it.
Oh,
or
but
cared.
you're not. You don't understand.
I've watched it to the extent where I'm like, okay, what's the secret ingredient? Okay, that's all. I need to
American
know.
or Japanese? Because there's a difference.
Both. I've seen both
okay,
of them.
Okay, so we'll get deeper into that when we get there. But like,
There's a lot of episodes of dogs for the Japanese show.
yeah, I know.
I've
I
eaten
know.
dog.
Have you
It's,
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was a Mormon missionary in the Philippines, and when I was there, I was presented with some aso adobo.
And you'd be rude to not partake, right?
I'd be stupid not to partake. It was a dog. I wanted to eat it. I get to tell people that I eat dog all the time. It's great.
I mean,
It was all right. I didn't mind it.
You can cut this out of the show, but if you want to watch a show about cooking that is really good, like maybe the best show about cooking I've ever seen, because it's more about the philosophy of food than it is about like actually cooking stuff. It's called Mind of a Chef, and it's on PBS and it's on Netflix now and stuff. But like, I can just sit and watch that for hours. Like, it's really cool. Anyway, what comes up pretty quickly is Bender is once again cooking for the crew. And his cooking is terrible to the point that it brings Leela to tears.
Well, Fry has to tell people about this.
yeah, I mean,
That's one of my favorite scenes in the episode because right away the professor says, "Oh God, my tract!"
yeah,
And then they're like talking about escaping on the ship, and Bender just appears in the doorway, like stirring a pot, fleeing somewhere.
it was like
I could watch Bender cook for a long time. Like as much as I don't like cooking shows, watching Bender cook is hilarious
chicken.
and intriguing.
Where he puts
Yeah.
eats the chicken and then it comes out.
It's
it's
just
all-
bones.
That was the thing that I thought Pete would hate.
well, it's once again he's got this magical chest cavity that can now process chicken meat. Apparently,
Science.
Where did the meat go? Because you never see the meat.
right? It's probably sitting in there rotting, or maybe it's being processed into sausage and being cured or smoked.
Or maybe it's being turned into energy.
Yeah, but does he use solid food for energy?
He uses alcohol.
Is fermented chicken a thing?
It could be.
Could be.
In the future.
Sure, somewhere.
Huh. I mean, at this point,
It's the future, Pete.
I've almost sort of exhausted my outrage over Bender's chest cavity. I'll bring it up, but at this point, it's like, I mean, at the same time, I'd be like, well, he shoots pepper out of his ass too, and that's where his brick hole is.
That was the other thing that I said you would hate.
I don't hate it. I'd have to like be invested.
You know,
to
I
hate it.
paused at that part. We'll get to it, but the brick, it could have been there or it could not have been there. We don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't a good shot.
Yeah.
That's why it's so funny.
But I think you're right. You said that the B story with Zoidberg was something you really enjoyed.
That's why I can't hate this episode. It's not. I don't think it was a great episode, but the B story with the yes, it's the scale replica of the world's largest bottle.
I put this chip in it so it's not boring.
For the last time, look with your eyes, not with your claws. And then, I mean,
Tommy, can I have one of your beers?
The whole thing where it just immediately turns into like a Jerry Lewis slapstick.
Thanks.
Was just perfect and totally
rest in peace.
predictable.
Rest in peace.
My favorite line in the episode period is when he says, "Professor will hit me." He has another great line later on. I don't even know if I wrote it down.
That the way that goes is like, but if I fix it, perhaps
Gifts even?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're still kind of waiting to get if we ever do, like the backstory on the professor and Zoidberg's relationship. Like we know that
Yes.
they're best friends, but does that happen later on?
No, and I was also
we get some backstory on them.
no. We're waiting on.
Yeah,
that. It hasn't
we're waiting
happened
on it.
yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Surrender your mysteries to Zoidberg.
What my thought during that part though is like he like puts his tentacle or whatever they're called in there and it breaks it off. Why couldn't he easily like just put it back and
glue it on?
Glue
Yeah.
back on.
Because he's incompetent. he's basically 100% liability. But so then Bender makes everybody their special meals. Where
Which I love.
Amy gets baked pony because she likes cute things.
Well, because she is cute.
Yeah.
So because she's cute, she gets a pony, a hoof.
Yeah, it's like
the
kind of a
lower
forearm.
Yeah.
But like, what?
You could argue that there'd be delicious parts of a pony,
Yeah,
But not that one.
but the lower part of a pony's foot and hoof with the fur still on,
yeah.
which
I mean,
didn't appear to be cooked. It's not going to be delicious.
it was a ceviche.
And Fry had some like it looked like petrified ribs or something like that.
It looked like a spoiled rack of something. But then I was trying to figure out what the professor had.
It was the digestive tract or something like that.
Yeah,
it was like
was
a
it
stomach
all
or
from
like,
the pony?
I don't know. No, I don't. Maybe I don't know.
We don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
But it was
Leela had something with 2 eyes on it.
just a big dick, yeah.
Eyeballs.
But then for dessert, the pie where he's like, "Well, you all like swarms of things, don't you?" You just see it like
Squirming,
bubbling up
yeah.
underneath.
That's one of my favorite lines in Futurama is, "You guys like swarms of things, right?"
I also like, hey, the plant's sick again. Only gets sick when I cook.
Wait,
Coincidence?
What do you think about that and all your precious science?
One of the best things in the episode was when Zoidberg comes in with the trench coat on over all the shit that's glued onto him, and he's just like acting super casual. Like that may be one of my favorite scenes with him ever because he's just so bad at it. Like he is in everything.
He even announces act naturally.
There's a deleted scene in that part where he explains the cuckoo clock on his back, and he's like, "This? What? Oh, well, I'm always running late, so I decided to get myself a clock." And then the bird comes out.
I fall more and more in love with Zoidberg every day. I keep going back
He's my favorite character on the show.
to one of those original questions we used to ask about who you'd like to see in a spinoff, like Zoidberg 100%.
See,
I don't know. I never got to answer that question, so I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah.
For me, it's Kiff. I think Kiff and like Zeb Brannigan having their own show would be really great. I love Zoidberg. I don't think he's strong enough to carry his own show.
You don't.
I feel like
I think that shtick would get really old over the course of an episode.
because any episode that he is the main, he's the main focus, he becomes too sympathetic, and it's not as funny. So, with some writing and tweaking, maybe, but I agree that the Zap Brannigan Kiff spinoff would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
We gotta figure out the adult Tom and Jerry first, but we'll keep that in the back pocket.
The Michael Bay Tom and Jerry.
No, we want it to be good, like Quentin Tarantino's Tom and Jerry.
which is an episode of Itchy and Scratchy.
It is. Yeah, that's right.
Guest director Quentin Tarantino.
When Bender overhears about that nobody likes his cooking. Oh,
as he's
first
squeezing
of all,
mop water into shot glasses.
Yes.
What do you think the green stuff was? I mean, obviously
Acid,
it was
apparently.
acid, I guess, but like
At first, I thought it was Slurm.
Oh yeah, It's funny because like the first time I watched this episode, I was like running around doing stuff, so it was on in the background, and I came in and I missed the part where he squirted, like wrung out the mop over it.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what was happening, and then I watched it again this morning, and I realized that was what it was. But I spent a lot of time like, I wonder what that is.
I also love the portal that.
Yes.
That's like when they're trying to all get rid of the food. Yeah, he creates the wormhole and then wipes his own head off like that. That's just an incredibly funny visual gag.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this the last couple episodes. Like they were clearly burning through their leftover budget because there's another set of like really good graphics in this episode. Like they really stepped up a notch in a lot of
When he's like riding the rails and stuff like that too.
yeah.
Well,
Just
yeah.
the visuals were really good and maybe like kind of head and shoulders above most of the season.
I just remembered there's another deleted scene in this where Fry is actually pretending to eat whatever he has meal-wise.
Yeah.
And he has, like, the fork on the side of his face. And Bender's, like, over on the other side. He's like, And then Bender, like, looks at him and he, like, actually puts it in his mouth. And then he, like, almost, like, gags. And then he's like, oh, it's really good. And Bender, as he's walking into the kitchen, he goes, if you love that, you're going to, or if you like that, you're going to love the antidote.
That's so goddamn funny.
Yeah,
that
I wish that would have been in there.
So the thing with the drinks or whatever, I couldn't tell if they were supposed to be like dessert cups with maybe like a Jello in or whatever, but it made me think about this time I used to work in a restaurant like when I was home for summers in college, and I worked with this guy. It was just like a normal regular guy, but every once in a while you'd play hijinks like you do working in a kitchen. And we had a dumbwaiter that went from the downstairs to the upstairs, and the cleaning stuff was all in the basement. So I asked him to like send up the cleaning stuff, and he sent up a 5-gallon bucket and it had some stuff in it. And then in the middle of it, there was a cup with some other stuff in it. They were different colors. And I'm like, okay. And I put my mop in and started going. And he'd put bleach and ammonia in the 5-gallon bucket. So when I tipped it over, it created chlorine gas. Like, Jim, what the fuck did you do? And we had to like leave and get the windows open because it was just like we were starting to choke because it was effectively like mustard gas.
Because that's a war crime.
Yeah, and he
Chlorine
just
gas.
did it because he thought it would be funny because he learned this much chemistry in high school before
That's
he
actually a
dropped out.
Futurama joke, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know if we've gotten to that one
when
yet.
they go swimming, right? They,
Yeah, and then
I know,
it's funny
Freedom
because
Day.
it's
Yeah.
chlorine.
Yeah.
It happened to me.
Oh wait, chlorine.
It's just I spent a lot of time working in kitchens, and I always miss it a little
It was
bit.
the Flexo
but not,
episode.
Not
Yeah.
not
What,
enough
the
to,
chlorine?
like-
Yeah.
No, that's the Freedom Day, where they all go nude skinny dipping. Right at the beginning, in the
and Bender gets all rusty from the gas.
yep.
Did we even do that one yet?
No, I'm thinking of the thing where it's Flexo and Bender, and he's like, hey, Fry, guess what? And then it's like he sprays it, and
Oh,
he's like,
okay, yeah,
chlorine.
yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking of it.
Oh, that's funny because it's poisonous. Yeah,
You know what?
they used that gag a couple times, I guess.
I probably told that same story at that one, but I can't remember what happened yesterday, much less like 20 episodes ago. Oh well. The other thing is they kind of, as all of this was going down, they say this food tastes better as vomit.
Which I don't think is physically possible.
Well, how much vomiting have you done, Tom?
I've done some vomiting.
How much
I did.
terrible food have you eaten too? Like this is
Oh, yeah, I guess.
inedible food, so I think it is possible that at least you know what vomit tastes like. So there's comfort in that. So you like the stomach biles like makes it a little more palatable.
If it's like an alkaline substance, the stomach bile might neutralize it where it comes out tasting like water or something.
Yeah.
But
I guess I've never had anything that bad.
I
where-
guess what I was leaning to is like, do you have any preferred things to throw up? Like, because
I just prefer to not throw up.
no, that's a given. Like, I don't think anybody. Well, I'm not gonna say nobody likes throwing up. There's got to be people out there that do, but like, you don't want to throw up a bunch of pretzels, but a Dairy Queen soft serve cone is.
There are things that are funner to throw up.
And not even like fun, just like, oh, well, that was.
Well, you'll get
hang
some
on,
projectile out of it.
Yeah.
Hang on. Do you chew your pretzels?
I don't chew anything.
It's like a duck.
Yeah, I crunch it up in my fist and then just throw it at the back of my throat. Which works good. It works good for stuff like chips and pretzels, but for like chicken, it just makes a mess. Who was that? You?
But you feel more full.
Who had the grandfather that just gummed his food?
Oh yeah, that was my great grandfather.
Last week we talked
He just
He said his grandpa didn't have any teeth. So it was from that generation where you're like, you can't do something and you're a pussy, so you just fucking make it work.
I mean, but could you just like taking a steak and just grinding it in your fist and just throwing chunks of it, into your mouth? Like,
if only the Mythbusters were still a thing.
I know. There's the White Rabbit Project, but
It's
not the same. It needs
right.
more mustaches.
can you calcify your gums enough to chew things?
Let's
Okay.
get the team on it.
So Bender gets his feelings hurt, which I think is always my favorite part about Bender is that he is so sensitive when he's supposed to have the least amount of feelings. He's
Not
the
supposed
most
to have
sensitive
any.
one.
That's
Right.
that's when I like Bender the most. Like my first episode that I was on was the one where he goes to hell, and I hate that episode, and I hate Bender. He's the weakest character on the show, but Bender is at his best. You're right, when he's vulnerable, and trying to do something nice and just totally completely
Gets it wrong.
screwing it up. Yeah,
And then
yeah.
feels
That's
bad
what
about
made
it.
the last episodes or 2 episodes of Godfellas. That's what
Yeah.
makes it so good.
Yeah.
Is that's most of what that episode is.
I didn't realize he had a pen finger that he could unscrew and write with.
Yeah, he does.
There's a lot of things you don't know about.
I mean,
Bender.
it maybe just
Apparently.
hadn't come up yet, Pete.
But I
You've
really
only known
liked
him
his-
for like 54 episodes.
That's true. It's only been like a year. But the pre-printed stock he had with like a
With
plea
all that-
for attention from Bender. This time I mean it. What were the other ones? There's like
I'm getting a
I'm
tattoo.
running away.
yeah, I'm running
Tattoo,
away,
committing
getting a
suicide.
tattoo, a plea for attention.
And this time I mean it is a great box to check. That should
Yeah.
literally be like an emoji on Facebook and stuff for when people are doing all their venting these days. No, this time. It's
This
for
time
real.
I mean it.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick to this for 3 days instead of until tomorrow.
But I think the whole Bender being sensitive and more sensitive than anyone else, because when he gets low or just has emotion, he gets lower than pretty much anyone on the show. Like Fry gets sad, Leela gets sad, but it's out of loneliness and it's a little more justified. He is easily the most sensitive of all of them, and I think that's such a great parallel you can draw between all the people that are on Facebook and social media that act like they're so tough and so unaffected by things, and then fly off the handle over whatever.
Yeah,
He hides
totally.
behind being
Being a
thinking
robot,
that he's
yeah.
awesome and a robot
Well,
and everything.
Okay, so
But then as soon as he can't do something that he wants to be good at, now he's got to lash out at everybody or run away.
Are Bender's emotions actually part of his source code, or is it some sort of thing where his artificial intelligence is evolving to have these human emotions? Does this ever get answered? Am I getting too
We get
out there
into
with it?
there's a whole episode that you're gonna watch. It's in after the movies,
Okay.
the newer reboot or
The Comedy Central seasons.
Yeah, the Comedy Central seasons. That you're going to. It's a bad episode, but it's gonna
It'll
drive you
explain all
crazy.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Which one is this? Just so
The free will unit one.
yeah, but they also kind of changed the format of the show for
Yeah.
those, so that one was more about once the show gets to Comedy Central, they're trying to be a little more poignant about social issues.
Right.
so-
Yeah, that's true. They do.
You just
There's
have
a
to
lot.
accept that, yeah.
It does change where it's more about.
It's more parody.
What's going? Yeah, like back
Well, okay.
to.
So and
Because this isn't really there's no there's all kinds of episodes where we have actual like social issues that are brought up in that time, and now it's like kind of even repeating itself in here.
And it's more, I feel like way more subtle.
Yeah.
In the early stuff?
In the early stuff.
Yeah.
In the newer ones, it's like, here's something ripped from the headlines.
Yeah.
We're going to
make
make
it.
it.
It's almost like
it.
similar to like how South Park wrote an episode. Like it was like actually attacking a certain issue that was
Specific
going
things.
on. Yeah.
Well, so that's, I guess, to make it academic and really make people tune out and get bored. The thing I was wondering about it is like, because those emotions are not natural to him, then the swings and the inability to like deal with them would kind of make sense. Where like, I don't know. There's like studies that show like girls that are typically not raised to be competitive in competitive sports and things, and sort of like,
well, skills, yeah.
well, yeah, how to understand loss and be like, it's
Yeah.
just a game and whatever. That like they tend to be more violent in things because it doesn't have the social construct around it. Like they're just not brought up in it.
Right.
Now this is all changing, whatever. But I have done academic work on that, at least reading through some of those studies. It was just an interesting sort of parallel to that, where like, if you don't know how to kind of compartmentalize stuff and sort of go, oh, well, this is just that, and yeah, I feel bad, but whatever. Like you would be super mood swingy and crazy. I just don't know how much of that is like actually into the character or is just lazy writing.
No, I don't think it's lazy writing. I think it is absolutely the AI, and that Bender is so good at all the things he's supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And so when he...
Like bending.
He's very good at bending. That's what he's programmed to do. So when he inadvertently stumbles upon something that he likes and is kind of ashamed of, like being a chef or being a
bad
singer?
chef.
Yeah. A folk singer, yeah. And he's not great at it. It makes him incredibly insecure, and he doesn't know how to deal with that because he knows how to bend. He knows how to do the things he's supposed to do, and other things he just has no interest in because they haven't struck him as something that he should care about. So that would make sense that as a robot with artificial intelligence, it's not even as much an emotion as it is just frustration.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
I know
Like
frustration.
why can't I do this? I'm an expert, perfect doing this.
He's
other
stronger than
thing.
anybody else on the crew.
Yeah.
He
can do
everything's way easier
He
for
can
him.
store multitudes
Yeah,
inside.
he's
his
got so many
chest
great
cavity.
talents. So when it comes to something that takes a little more finesse and a little bit more, something more than just being strong or programmed to be able to do it, he freaks out.
I mean, he can't even taste.
He can't taste.
I know, which is, I mean,
A
you'd think
benefit.
they would have figured that out.
We'll
do you
find
think?
out it's a benefit.
So he goes to run away, meaning for real this time. Why does
He throws his hat on the ground
Yes.
and rats run out. Of it.
why does he need a
Which
bindle?
I feel like Pixar was like, hey, let's make that into a movie. What if rats cooked?
Why does he need a bindle? He could store all his shit inside his chest
Because
cavity.
now he's a railroad.
He's a
hobo.
robo.
He's a robo.
What'd you say?
A Romo. Oh, I thought you said a Romo.
So that's almost
Which became even more offensive once the quarterback became a thing.
that was one of those jokes where it's like, oh, do you think that would even happen today?
A Romo?
Yeah.
That scene, that conversation, I don't think would happen if they made that episode today.
Yeah, I don't think it would either. But to defend the bindle, if you have an opportunity as a writer to put a bindle into an episode, I feel like you're going to do it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
someone's
Have
running
to.
away, and you're like, what's the funniest thing to carry all your belongings in?
Especially in the 31st
Not a chest
century.
cavity. Yeah.
Sure.
Every
It's a
scenario
bindle.
and joke that I've ever made of somebody running away involves a bindle.
Yeah.
Like no matter
It's the
what
funniest
time,
thing.
yeah.
It's the funniest way, because it's the worst way to carry all your belongings, but it's the funniest
A
by
stick
far.
and a bandana.
He literally
You can't
has a
carry
chest cavity that he can carry everything in.
Yeah. He could probably shove the whole stick in there and you wouldn't even know.
But the
So
bindle's
it's probably more symbolic.
Okay. Because it's certainly inefficient.
Yes.
Oh, brother Bender, you scamp.
I would love to see Bindles make a comeback, though. Like to become a thing that people are carrying around, where they just have a stick in a bandana and then like their wallet and their phone in it.
I mean, we could hang them off of the mic stands here.
You know what? All the people that stand on the side of the highway with signs asking for money and stuff like that. If they had a bindle, maybe I would give them.
Listen, let's make a pact right now. If any of us see someone carrying a bindle, they get at least $1.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'll go to the ATM, break that $20 bill, and give them back and give them $1 because I never have cash on me. So
do you have to document it though and prove it?
Yeah.
Okay. So like it's got to go up on Instagram or
it just has to be documented. It doesn't have to be on social media.
Okay.
Just proof.
So just send it to one of us and vice versa.
It'll probably end up being on like the front page of the New York Times or something because it's amazing.
You hear that? All the homeless people out there that are listening to this podcast.
Bindle it up.
You got a bindle, you get at least $1.
I feel like there's going to be some store in Hingetown now that's like artisan bindles.
I'm surprised there isn't
$1 per
already.
bindle.
The exchange between Elzar and Bender when Bender's begging to become like a student of his. He's like, why? He's, well, your antenna's in my crotch, and also I hate you. Which
is a line I use a lot in my life.
I love Elzar.
Are you making a bindle right now as we speak?
No, I just don't know what to do with my scarf.
Bill's got a scarf.
I got a promotional scarf from the Indians, and I wore it because nobody else has it yet because I had to go to the game, and now it's hot and I don't want to wear it.
But then, give to the Indians to give a promotional scarf in August.
Yeah.
People were stopping me like, "Hey, where'd you get that, man?" I'm like, "Come to the game Friday."
It'll be useful in October when they're in the World Series again, right?
Fuck yeah, Dan!
Yay!
The funny thing is, I hate baseball.
I don't care as long as they make it to the World Series and win.
Do you hate winners too, Dan?
I live in Cleveland, don't I?
Yeah. We have
Do you need a
winners now,
scarf?
don't we?
Go to the game on Friday.
Wait, winters or winners?
Either.
Oh, no.
Wait, did you think I said winter like somebody who lives in Cleveland?
No, I thought you said
What do you think about
winners.
winter?
Winners?
Winners.
I like winter.
I like winter too, but I can see where you'd get confused because we all like to
Because
drop
we're
our
from
T's.
Cleveland and we say winter.
And
Winner.
yeah.
Winner, chicken
Did
dinner.
Did we roll past real quick?
No, the transition back to Zoidberg.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Where he will never recombobulate the ship.
I like that Zoidberg's version of evil and scheming is to like make a shirt that says "I hate bottles."
After going, what would the robot do?
Yeah.
Frame someone. It's like he's not dumb. Like he's perceptive, but like it's just his take is so like
he's kind of dumb.
How come Pete's glasses get so foggy? Yours are fine.
I'm a very humid person, Bill.
I am too.
It's just you're right under the fan.
Pete
I am right
breathes
under
out of
the
his
fan.
eyes.
Don't have to worry about you.
I'm gonna Millhouse it up. Don't worry. Just like stick a finger in there so there's a little clear spot. And everything else is like white. Did Bender was the rust beard just for effect, or do you think he actually quit drinking when he became a robo?
I mean, if he's a robo, he might not have money for booze. He wasn't acting like he wasn't drinking, though.
I didn't understand the beard, and then I chalk it up
either.
to that line where it's like, "You're too drunk. You're not drunk enough. You're too." I don't know how it works. However, it works.
Yeah, it made me. I thought of it like it was just like the bindle. Like it's a cool visual gag to make him look more homeless.
The whole exchange with the like robot hobos, the robos again. If
No,
you
they
will.
were regular hobos.
Were they?
Yeah.
The dudes? Yeah. He's the robo.
Well, right. I'm misremembering. Like I
And
said,
we
2
don't know
days
how
ago.
far he traveled, so maybe on the travel he had to quit drinking because it was so far.
Right.
He was riding the rails.
Yeah, I mean, they got on the train. The visuals during the train ride were
Great,
awesome.
yeah, the prism.
and then the prism thing.
And the way it all broke up. like,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's. Have you ever ridden on a train? Like
Yes.
not like a Like a light
Not
rail.
like a train around Cedar Point.
No, not like a light rail or like a subway, but like a train.
No.
I don't think I have.
It's pretty nice.
Oh no, I have because I've done like the Excella.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a smooth ride, and it usually runs on time. And then there's like a car you can go drink in.
No, I love trains,
Wi-Fi?
and that's why there needs to be trains. Like we have planes all across the country, but if we had like high-speed trains across America, that'd be like if you could take a train that was
It didn't take
in Columbus
17
in
days.
30 minutes.
Yeah,
like that's totally possible.
yeah.
But we don't have it.
No, we don't have a lot of things, but
That's
I've
because
had
of the car companies.
Back a long time ago, they thought steam engines were going to go too fast for people to survive.
I know. Turns out
30, 45 miles per hour.
it might accelerate the shit out of your brain. Then you just be a bumpkin. You never know.
All your organs fall out.
Yeah. Well, what was the name of the planet with all the hobos then when they got there?
I don't think they ever said.
Did they
Bum
say
base alpha.
bum base?
Bum base alpha.
Really?
It's located on a remote asteroid.
I have a question about the technology that the space hobos use to patch their spacesuits.
Yes.
Because their spacesuits did have patches.
Huh.
So I wonder, like, if you're a space hobo, are spacesuits cheap enough that you can afford
You can steal them.
That's what I'm
spacesuit
thinking.
and also afford the technology to patch them?
I'm thinking that at this point in the future, there, like people are throwing out spacesuits because
Yeah.
maybe it ripped or whatever, and these guys are getting them from the trash and then
They're
patching
taking
them up.
Yeah, they're taking another spacesuit and
Yeah.
using it to.
Have
patch
you
up
ever
the other
heard
one.
of duct tape, Dan?
I have.
You could use that to patch a spacesuit, I'm sure.
Okay.
Maybe.
I've seen it in a movie.
Yeah.
When we had an above ground pool and we had ripped the liner.
Did you take it to space?
There's water in it, okay? And we had ripped the liner, and then we had to put glue on a patch and patch that liner without completely draining the pool, and it worked. So I imagine if you can do something like that with white trash technology, like
Hang on,
above ground
wait.
pool.
This was this the outside of the pool or the inside?
The inside.
So
Like I
there's-
went through the water with
With glue on that patch.
and patched it up, and
Really?
it worked. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
I had no idea that
How long ago was
adhesive
this?
technology
This
was
is
so
like
good.
98, 99.
It's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh,
did-
that's impressive. I didn't
this is
know
at your folks' house?
Yeah.
Did they know there was a hole in the pool, or was this?
Yeah,
like-
they had to buy the patch, but I was the one. Like me and my brothers were the ones that like fixed it.
Wow.
So
I'm thinking about science now. That's like.
and I'm
like
thinking about
water-
how we had to take apart that pool and sell it, and that was that was one of the saddest days of my life. I love that fucking pool.
Did you have like a deck built around the outside? Everything
No,
was
we
just the pool.
We had like a deck that was just like on one part.
Yeah.
and then that was like it. Like we didn't have the whole fancy thing. We just it was like something my dad bought for us reluctantly because I called him out for giving a bunch of money to the John Birch Society. I'm like, that's how much an above ground pool costs. And then before you know it, we had an above ground pool.
Wait, your dad gave money to the John Birch
I
Society
was
in
raised
the
Mormon.
90s?
Yeah, I was a Mormon.
I didn't know the John Birch Society still existed.
Yeah, it was.
Did the communists
the
still
waning
exist,
days.
Dan?
Yeah,
Well, then the
Well,
John
John
Birch
Birch
Society
Society
still
still
needs to
exists,
exist
yeah.
too.
fair enough.
Who's John Birch again?
I don't. I never knew. I just knew there was 7 old
was
men
like
that
a-
would come over to our house every Thursday, and I would just go in my room and not be around them.
Oh my
I
god!
thought it was like a senator or some politician who.
It's like it is libertarian as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
'cause-
what we doing paying taxes for roads?
I know.
I hardly even use these roads, like that kind of shit.
Brain hurting.
It's in there rattling around.
I know. Like I'm.
It's okay.
I mean,
on.
back to the hobos. They
Thanks,
also
Tom.
have.
I don't want to be paying for no hobos. Sorry, my dad comes out at times.
They also somehow got jetpacks too.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like that
So-
technology is like you're just throwing it out. I mean, a hobo
That's like Coke
at
for
this
kids and
time right
stuff.
now could probably go and get a whole bunch of DVDs.
Or like people
Or,
throw bikes
like,
out on their front
yeah.
lawn and stuff.
And kids, people throw out. I mean, hobos have phones now.
Yeah.
Like there's people that are homeless, but they have a phone.
Well, you need a phone.
Yeah, they have an
There's
Obama
a-
phone.
And
yeah.
and track phones, I mean, I have a burner.
Yeah.
I don't ever use it, but it's there just in case I have to go off the grid. You won't be able to find me. You'll just get a phone that says like babysitter.
Kind of makes me want to get a burner now. I want Pete being cooler than me.
It's surprisingly cheap.
I know it's cheap. That's
And,
why I
like,
should have one.
It's sort of like we got it as like a landline backup because we don't have one, and if we ever go out and someone's here, actually we got it because your daughter, who sometimes babysits our daughter, didn't have a phone at one point. We're like, if shit goes down, she can't touch 911, so let's make sure we've got something here, and it's just like $20 every 3 months to renew it, and like why get rid of it? It's a little sweet little flip phone. There's games on it and stuff. You can take pictures that look like you pushed in your eyeball.
That look like you're on the Sega Genesis.
It's like a 0.4 megapixel.
They look like you took them in 2003.
Yes, exactly. The pie. What I really loved that whole throwback thing where Helmut Spargle puts the pie out on the sill and like it's the fumes like pulling them in by their nose. I always loved that.
But they're still using jetpacks.
Yeah, to like float over to the pie, but like that's such an old gag.
That's how you know something is
Yeah,
good.
you know how it's delicious, but he made the pie out of shoes even, which shows you how talented Helmut Spargle is.
Was it him or was it the flavor?
He didn't use that.
You don't know.
You don't know.
I don't think
You're
he used it
just
because he
assuming.
didn't need to.
Maybe he did. and
But
you're
that also didn't have any odor or flavor to it.
We'll
What?
get there.
The,
We'll get there.
the secret ingredient.
Get your
yeah. Special,
dubious look off your face, Dan.
The
Oh,
essence of
all of a sudden being dubious isn't okay.
But then the way it gets into that backstory, and this comes back to like our cooking show sort of thing, where like Elzar comes in and he's like the hot new guy and sort of ushers Helmut out of the cooking show landscape.
It's exactly what happened to Julia Child.
Yeah. And do you ever see like the old pictures of Emerald, like when he was like a young skinny guy before he started looking like a real chef? Like he, it's almost the same as what happens in here. It's just like a young, skinny, enthusiastic guy, and they're just like, oh,
With
this
8
guy
arms.
says, bam, yeah, and
He did have 8 arms, didn't he?
I mean, like, but if you go back and watch the stuff that came off,
That's
like
3.
Julia Child was really amazing too.
I don't remember how many it is.
My favorite one out of
6.
all of those. Did you ever see Yan Can Cook?
No, we told you don't watch any.
I feel like we just
this
talked
was-
about how we don't watch.
No, but
cooking
this
shows.
this was like this was a PBS show. This wasn't like
man.
food TV.
Yeah.
But this would have
But I
been
didn't
on
watch
like
any
in,
of 'em.
in the background.
There are a
like-
few things that interest me less than cooking shows.
Okay, so Martin Yan.
It's only 4, Bill.
It's only 4. Oh wow.
Martin Yan was he's a Chinese American chef. I mean, I think he's actually like from China or Hong Kong. Like he's an immigrant and started his whole cooking empire out in California and like daytime TV and all that stuff, and ended up on PBS. But like every episode, he'd come out with like some apron with the iron-on 70s like fuzzy letters with some bad pun on it. Like every episode, it would change over. The thing that comes to mind, and this is dumb because it's so antiquated, but be like walk and roll. But stuff like that, like every time he just have like a dumb dad joke apron, a brand new one custom made for every episode, which on a PBS budget in the 80s is like,
Pretty funny.
yeah, that's outstanding. Like his commitment.
Oh, I get it. Walk and roll.
Anyway,
How the hell? Where are we?
what 8 senses does Bender have?
We're like a third away through
wait,
the episode.
hang on. So the one that he mentions, smidgen.
Yeah.
So I took that to be spelled like fission, like nuclear.
But there's an S and an M in it.
No, I know. No, I mean fission. Like it's spelled
Like
with,
SSION?
Yeah, it's spelled SMISSION.
Okay.
So like, I don't know. What do you guys think? That's what I thought it was. So I was trying to think of what that could be, but I'm not a linguist, so I don't.
A combination of smell and vision.
fission or vision.
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 I don't know. I
Like
think
you can
it's
see smells.
Yeah. It's synesthesia, basically.
Well, that's boring.
It's
maybe
science.
maybe that is his sense of putting things in his chest cavity.
I just
Because he'd even give that up
Now
do
what?
those
for
eight-
the sense of
look,
taste.
Do those eight senses ever get enumerated anywhere?
No.
So we assume like hearing, sight, touch, smell, smidgen, and then there's 3 more that we're missing.
Yeah, we don't know.
One of them not being taste.
But, I mean,
That's the joke, though.
though one of the running jokes is the fact that he's 30% iron.
Yes.
That is an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
We've done that, right? We've
Well,
that's
I'm
happened before.
30% or
30%
40% or
Dolomite.
30 or
whatever.
40%, yeah.
Oh, did we not? Wait, you guys didn't get
I think it's
that one
usually
yet.
40% though, isn't
With
it?
the Dolomite one?
Yeah.
I don't
'Cause
know.
that's
I don't
the one
remember.
with the dog.
Oh, yeah, no, we haven't gotten to that yet.
But then we get to the part where like he forgets everything he knows about cooking by pushing an obviously accessible button on the side of his butt, which they did that in the Lucy Liu Kidnapster episode too, where it's just like, oh, we're gonna forget everything. And you press the button. I don't like that. There's
Shocked.
no, it's just that to me is lazy writing. Like the forget everything. It's not really funny and it's just blah.
But I think it is funny because it's such an accessible button that he could bump into at any time.
Yeah.
That makes it funny.
But it's not there all the time.
Right, but that's also why it's funny.
Oh,
Because it's a cartoon, and
That's
that happens all
one
the
of
time
my
in
favorite
cartoons.
things about cartoons is the fact that like it's something that isn't there all the time.
I know. We've
Because you can whatever
established-
you need is
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
when you
It's
want
cartoon
it to be.
logic.
We've established that I don't like cartoon logic. So
Yeah.
I've
And
just,
never look down when you're running across air. Never look down because you'll be fine.
and if you run through a wall, it's going to create an outline exactly
And
the same.
all of a
shape
sudden,
as
you'll
your
have a
body.
sign to explain to everybody that you are not happy that you look down.
I really loved the Ginsu knife homage that happened when he was chopping things up. Do you guys remember those commercials?
Oh
I
yeah,
was-
those were great.
I wanted my parents to buy Ginsu knives. I was like, this will solve all our problems. I don't know what problems we had. I mean, my parents were getting divorced and all this stuff, but I thought if we had Ginsu
Those
knives
fancy Japanese knives would
and
have
we could
fixed it.
cut cans and then slice tomatoes, fine, everything would be good.
I mean, the thing is, like, you can cut cans with regular knives. It just makes them dull as shit after you do it. Like, have you ever had any experience with Cutco? It's like door-to-door multi-level marketing thing for like kitchen knives.
Is
And
it like Amway for kitchen knives?
yeah.
I did a Cutco interview
Really?
when I first got back from the Philippines. Like that was one of the first places I applied for a job.
Really?
And I'm like, I'm gonna be really good at this. And then they're like, got to the part like, so what you do is you go to your friends and family just like to practice. I'm like, oh, it's a scam.
Yeah. I mean, the demos are impressive because
Yeah.
like they have scissors that'll cut through pennies and like knives that'll cut through like coins and shit, but they get dull too.
Like I thought I was gonna be like an actual salesman and not just trying to scam like people that I cared about,
yeah.
which I didn't feel like doing.
That's always the key to multi-level marketing.
I
is
prefer to scam
alienating.
people that I don't know.
It's like why alienate the people that you have to be around?
yeah, I've heard your commercials on the radio, Bill.
Nutrimo. Really does work. Lost a lot of weight. I just put it all back. Not all of it. I put a good amount back on just because, I got a girlfriend and
Yeah.
like
It
eat a lot.
happens.
Yeah,
I,
you get-
I overeat. Like that's gonna make you fat again.
Do you
Cut
guys
this part out.
do you guys have an accusing parlor in your homes?
No.
I need one.
Yeah.
I need one really bad.
I just want you to try to go to the bank to get a loan and just be like, I want to add on to my house. I need an accusing parlor.
I feel like you have a kid. I have a kid. Like, we need accusing parlors because, when, something gets broken.
It's never me.
Right.
Like it's never me. It's probably
Well,
It's the kids.
I'm a pretty klutzy guy. Sometimes it's me.
I'll cop to it when it is me though, because I'll usually yell "God damn it" really loudly or
Right.
something. Like it's not a surprise if I fuck something up.
Right.
I could have used an accusing parlor. My kids are pretty grown now, so they just break stuff and they go, "Yeah, I did it. What are you gonna do?"
It just gets worse, doesn't it?
You need
It
a
just-
shaming parlor.
You're not allowed to have that in this generation. These fucking snowflakes.
Yeah, I mean, like what you need is like
a firm, hard spanking.
Well, it's weird because they're more worried about what their friends think. So if you could create like a jury of their peers to shame them for fucking things up, but what would happen is then they just gang up on you.
Yeah.
Be like, so
You somehow need to like go undercover.
Or you'd get arrested for starting cyberbullying or something like that.
is that wrong if you do it against your own kids?
It's not cyberbullying, it's cyber punishment.
It's cyber parenting.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the parents that make their kids stand out on the side of the road with a sign. No, I'm going to get all your friends to shame you.
That's, oh God. I can't, I'm terrified of my child achieving autonomy. It's just, it's the worst.
Is this the first time? Can't remember if this is the first time that Zoidberg has a first name that we notice it.
I think
Dr. John Zoidberg?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. John, I think it is. I mean, because even when he was writing, at the first episode that had Santa in it, like it was just your cousin Goldfarb or Zoidfarb, not, you know what I mean? Like they never tacked that thing on.
Yeah, because on the Fry confesses. That is the best confession note ever.
Which one? Just
When-
Fry confesses.
Yeah,
and
where he's like, yeah.
he's got the I hate bottles shirt on, not realizing it says it.
There's also another deleted scene where the professor shows a picture of the laboratory, and he's like, I suspected it because it's Fry's shoe print. He obviously hopped backwards on one foot. And then he's like, I may have thought somebody stole his shoe until I found this, and that's when the Fry confesses note comes out.
From the desk of John Zoidberg.
Yeah.
Then the part where Zoidberg freaks out because he finds out that the whole bottle and ship cost $10. He's like, oh, like
That's a lot of money to Zoidberg.
I know. He's got a sandwich-based savings portfolio. Or I'm sorry, a sandwich. But but then the whole like telltale heart thing with him and the guilt, like I just love that it's just eating away at him because he's ultimately like a virtuous character. He's just filthy, stinking.
and poor.
Yes.
I just like Fry just can't remember if he broke it or not.
Well, because Fry's so careless that he breaks things all the time.
Yeah.
So if someone accuses him of breaking something, he's just like, oh, maybe I did.
But so ultimately, as we transition back to Bum Base 1, Bender makes food that is acceptable to Helmut Spargle, and he transfers
kills him.
it, which kills him, but he gives him the essence of pure flavor that he can have in his, to use to impress people with his cooking.
What does Helmut Sparkle say? He says, there goes my life.
Is he supposed to be a Wolfgang Puck analog, maybe?
You're the one who watches the cooking shows.
No, I don't know. There's like something that his name is referenced after. Where is it?
I used to work in a party center, and the chef there was this Swedish guy named Hans. He was a character, very strange. He would chop the shit out of the chicken.
The montage while Bender is training to be a cook is from Karate Kid.
Yes.
Songs from Karate Kid.
Yeah,
And there's a Star Wars reference in it too.
Yeah, with the hovering potato
And the lightsaber potato peeler.
Yeah.
The line that Bender is a walking pile of Elzar's unfinished business was beautiful too. Like just the whole challenge where he literally does the glove slap. Like, have you ever been able to slap someone with a glove?
No, but I've always wanted to.
Yeah,
me
it's
too.
like I've always wanted to throw a drink in someone's face, and I've never done that either. But it's
Because you're not a real housewife.
well, but even like
It's also a girl move. A slapping with a glove is way more masculine than throwing a drink in someone's face.
so would that make it even more?
I'm not trying
fun
to define
do?
gender roles here, but
No, I mean I get it, but I don't wear gloves unless it's cold, and then if I'm inside, I don't have the gloves on because I don't need them anymore.
I mean, you need to.
Sometimes you just need to punch a bitch. I don't mean a bitch like a woman. I mean someone who's being a bitch.
But you're using that term, which means
A motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
We'll make white gloves a thing. Start wearing.
Yeah, be a trendsetter.
I couldn't bite my nails then.
So you have a reason for it.
So
You have a reason for it.
Well, I mean, I don't like nub them down to the things. I try and keep them nice.
That's how you get parasites, Pete.
I could use a parasite, Tom. Have you seen me? I could probably use a few.
You are a parasite.
I know. I'm suckling at the teat of socialism in this house. It's really, I'm just draining society. John Birch Society is going to come after me next.
Oh, Spargle's last name is referencing to the German word. I don't know, what is it? Chef's surname Spargel comes from the German word Spargel, which means asparagus.
Okay.
Asparagus is commonly grown in Germany.
Well, it does make your pee stink, so that
Is
tracks.
Wolfgang Puck from Germany?
I think he's from Austria.
Oh,
yeah.
Close
Yeah,
enough.
they speak German there, right?
I think so.
Part
I mean,
of it.
like, it's Germanish.
Yeah.
It's
All right,
probably-
so there you go.
Germanic.
Hey, we all tie
yeah.
them together.
Look, wow, we're grinding this down to a halt. So to bring the excitement back in, this is where Bender challenges Elzar.
Well, kills Helmut Sparkle, gets the secret essence of flavor,
Yes.
goes and challenges Elzar. And my favorite part of the entire episode is when he's explaining to Elzar that he's got to avenge the death of the man he killed. And Elzar's like, okay, but it seems like you're the one that killed him. That destroys me.
I didn't even catch that. That is brilliant.
It's
That's
so
good.
funny.
So this is where it becomes Iron Chef.
One thing I just want to stop real quick and point out a thing that I really appreciated was like there were people hanging out in a crowd with like pennants and shit.
Yeah.
Someone had one that just said fish sauce.
Yeah. So
And I fucking love it so much.
the
Is that like
I
tartar
tried
sauce?
cooking with fish sauce once, and never again. Holy shit!
well,
I did
What
something
is
wrong. It smells terrible.
it is
Do you
Whenever I
use-
get to it, I made up my house
an
smell for a week.
Asian seasoning condiment sauce. It is made by fermenting fish in barrels, but
When used properly, it's amazing. I did not use it properly.
Yeah, usually it's like a splash into a wok full of food, and it sort of adds like an umami to everything, and it's
Okay.
It's a very powerful, pungent thing. So if you use too much, you're gonna kill it. Yeah, but then I was just talking to a friend of ours owns a Thai place, and I was talking to her about this chicken I had in Portland that's like cooked. It's like marinated in caramelized fish sauce, and it's so good. Like I can't wait to go back there and eat it because it's just that good, and it's all fish sauce. So there's ways around it, but I don't think you and I are going to achieve that. In the
Definitely not
kitchen.
me. My
Yeah.
brother is a great cook, and that's who I live with, and he could probably do something like that.
Yeah.
But I overdid it, and it was like so bad.
It's
It
yeah.
got
it's a
into
lot.
like the wood. It was not.
Jesus.
I fucked up. I'm
That's
kind of a bender. When it comes,
ridiculous.
yeah, it was like a week of like walking in the house and being like,
fan?
huh. It's pungent.
So they become contestants on Iron Cook, as an homage to Iron Chef. Now,
Is there a white tiger on Iron Chef?
I think at times there may have been
Did they cook it?
No, it's just decoration. So the character, like the chairman and the cape and everything, the host, that was like a 100% analog from the chairman from the Japanese show.
The way he spoke, was that
The way
similar?
he talks and just the outlandish costumes and all of it. I mean, like when you watch a Japanese Iron Chef episode and it's like the pomp and circumstance and the backstory, and it's just campy as fuck. I mean, like you think they had to have John Waters in there as like a creative consultant or something, because it's just like, and then we're gonna so everybody's really dynamic and animated, but it is the intensity and the drama that they were, reality shows are all about like, here's the commercial break and it's a cliffhanger. This show just leaves them all in the dust because it's just like there's an hour and the time is so tense and everyone's just rushing around. But then the real beauty of the Japanese version is was all done in Japan, so no one's speaking English, but they have dubbed over all of the voices. And so, like, you can hear underneath the people talking in Japanese, like really fast and like animated. And then they got voice actors to cover. Like, okay, Kenji-san, and he's going to, and it's just like you watch it and it just ramps up the anxiety and whatever. And then you come to like, it's like wrestling, and you get into the characters, and it's like there's Chef Morimoto and like who's now an American like restaurant mogul with his places. And God damn it, it's been so long since I've watched it.
Well, just so you know, no matter what you say, you haven't sold it to me.
It is
at all.
It is. I mean, and if you don't get it, you don't get it. But if it speaks to you, it's just like, it's amazing.
How do you think Papa John would fare on that show?
He'd get killed. The other guy.
What if the secret
Would he
ingredient
be the secret ingredient?
was
Fresh ingredients.
was banana peppers? Because
No.
he does a pretty good job with those on his pizza.
No.
What if the secret ingredient was being like a total asshole?
Yeah. He might pull that one off. I mean, so then they ported it over to America, and I mean, I assume it's still on, like, right? And we have an iron, like,
Stop referring to us.
I don't know, because I don't have like cable. I haven't had like cable and live TV for several years, but like, Cleveland has an American Iron Chef and Michael Simon, like one of our cooking hometown heroes. There's the Mario Batali, and I think Morimoto was the one carryover from it, where he was a competitor on it. But like when they did the first round of Iron Chef America, William Shatner was the host, and it ported over directly, where it was just like the campiness of the acting, and it was
The
so
overdub of
yes,
his voice.
and it just all of it was just so perfect. Like all I want to do now is like stop recording this and just go watch Iron Chef episodes. Like I'm really, really excited about that show.
I'm going to
now.
reiterate, you haven't sold
I
it
know,
to me at all.
I know you don't care. You don't care, but that's it. It is. It's really like.
What was your favorite secret ingredient?
Come. Because if you can make that good, you can make anything good.
I don't know. It would either be like the really strange ones like Squid Ink, or the really, really, really expensive ones like abalone. Like they did one where there was like $10,000.
Bologna? That's not obscure.
Yeah. One bologna costs like 13 cents.
In Japan, it is. No, just abalone, which I don't even know if you can necessarily buy it here. It might be illegal in the States, but it was like $10,000 worth of abalone as the secret ingredient.
What is abalone?
It's like a mollusk shellfish. It's like a big scallopy type thing, but they're, I think, endangered. So of course it's a hot commodity in Japan, and they're like super fucking expensive. So
But they never use Soylent Green.
no, because that's not a real thing, Tom.
And it's people.
But every once in a while they do something.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So it's just everything about the Iron Chef sequence on this show, like I was
with the show.
I was just in 100%.
So whereas Dan didn't particularly love the climax of this episode, you were all in.
I was just too messing.
But even though Bender's food ended up being good because he cheated and used LSD, his presentation was garbage. So wouldn't that make it so that he wouldn't win?
It doesn't matter if the judges find it acceptable. We have Ethan Bubblegun Tate as a return appearance as one of the judges, and Morbo,
I do like him. Yeah,
and the head of Martha Stewart, which I
like the whole thing. It was like, what did he say? I've never
seen such perfect strokes of the ass.
Yeah, when Bender's really, you've never seen my ass.
No, I haven't.
that's
there was some tension between the two of them.
Yeah, it's all of it. All of it. It was just perfectly executed. And the thing is, if you went back and watched a new production episode of this show now, I think it would still track directly to it and still be just as good. So,
All right. Well, props to the Futurama creators on getting the Iron Chef part right.
Was Iron Cook when they did the title sequence?
The way you are so happy about them getting the Iron Chef part right, is so like it's got you as pumped as I've ever seen on this podcast.
I know, right?
Whereas the idea of Bender having a chest cavity that can hold multiple things just throws you completely off.
It's not multiple things.
Like anything, and then also contain anything, and then whenever he needs it.
It's that it's a container that defies physics.
Yeah.
That's what bugs me about it. And it doesn't get explained.
But accuracy to a kind of obscure, popular cooking show. Well, obscure, not obscure, but it was just popular, but it wasn't. It was cult following.
Yeah, I think it's more just the trappings of the actual Iron Chef show that I love so much. They were able to port directly into this episode of Futurama, and the sequence is probably all of 5 minutes.
Here's a parallel I'm trying to draw.
Yeah,
is a lot of cartoons have, what do we call it? Cartoon
logic. Yeah.
Okay. I love cartoon logic. Tommy loves cartoon logic.
Yep.
Dan?
Yes.
Dan loves cartoon logic.
Right.
So our excitement for all of that stuff is why all of those gags are so funny.
Okay.
Do you understand now?
No, I don't know where you're going with
what I'm saying is, it's nostalgia. What it comes down to is you like that Iron Chef part so much because of your love of Iron Chef. So cartoon logic is hilarious to us because of our love of cartoon logic.
I mean,
I
that's
get what he's
fine.
saying.
Get it?
I get it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean,
just say
it's just
I was wrong.
no.
To hate Bender.
I never said I hated Bender.
Well, to hate the cartoon logic.
I don't. Hate is a strong word.
Give me what I'm looking for. I'm fishing for something.
It's problematic. That's how I feel.
But is it now?
The cartoon logic?
Right, because you're not trying to have logic. You're trying to have comedy.
No, you guys have all had a lot more to drink than I have.
But we're talking about things.
But I'm not.
All right, alcoholic logic is also a thing.
I'm familiar with that too.
Okay, so I don't see why you can't come to our side.
No, well, it's just why don't you like Iron Chef, Bill?
Because cooking shows are fucking boring.
Yeah, I can understand that, but cooking shows are boring to us. But I understand your excitement of it.
Yeah, I don't.
And that's what I'm trying to impose on you is that you can let this cartoon logic thing go because you can see that
Pete,
it's very similar.
Let it go.
Just enjoy the story.
No, don't ever let it go. That's the whole dynamic of this show.
I can intellectualize it. I understand what you're saying.
But can you laugh at it? Does it ever make you laugh?
Probably sometimes. I don't have a list.
But it has made you laugh.
I'm sure it has.
All right, then you got to
some
stop.
point.
Then you got to stop worrying about it.
Well,
because it is funny.
Worry is a wrong word. I mean,
concerning yourself.
Yeah, or over.
I gotta talk about something though. I mean,
all right.
I mean, look. One of the problems that I have is that there's an inconsistency in these things. So if
every TV show has.
I'm a fan of not Law and Order SVU. Every episode is the episode where Stabler might go too far and cross a line. Every single one, except the ones he's not on.
There's an episode where they don't even have a case; they just put fucking Maloney into a cell by
and
himself.
He flips out.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with SVU.
It does, every episode of SVU, Stabler almost goes too far.
All right, fine.
It's
I have
consistent.
a question
It's
about
a garbage show, though.
when they're going over the ingredients.
Yes.
And Bender says if it's chicken a la king. If it's fish a la king.
Mm-hmm.
If it's turkey, it's fish a la king.
Yeah.
Is that like a joke about a la king and how those things are prepared, or is that just like a joke that he doesn't know how to cook turkey?
I think it's probably just a joke that he doesn't know how to cook turkey. I mean, a la king is just put it in puff pastry and put cream of mushroom soup on it, basically. Oh. So it's...
That sounds good. I'll have that.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to fuck that up. Like something a la mode is with ice cream on it.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's delicious. If you watched more cooking shows, you'd know that shit.
Yeah, but that's not a thing. But you know what, Pete? Now I know it, and I didn't have to watch a goddamn cooking show.
And we all know what delicious food is here.
Clearly.
I can see that.
This isn't the first.
By the way,
Big
these floors are
Buford
creaking.
and fries.
Did you get the text from Rallies today?
No.
Buy
You get
one,
text
buy one
from
rally.
rallies.
We'll talk off mic.
That's
is this isn't the first appearance of a Spice Weasel, is it?
No, but it's the first time they had them all in a rack.
Yeah.
Which
Spice Weasel made its first appearance in the episode where Leela gets blinded and
right,
Bender
right,
joins
right,
the
right.
mafia.
the salad garnished with money. I'd like, that looked interesting. I liked when they dumped the food just into Martha's head bucket and
She's swimming in her own
she's swimming in her
soylent
own
waste.
It
Does that mean
And
she
she
poops
likes
out
it.
of her neck?
Yeah.
Hole?
I think that's the insinuation there.
But all of it, every single last bit of it where Bender wins and everything is just a lead up to being able to make the joke, Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Though what really got me with this episode was when Fry really wanted to buy the commemorative turkey baster. And then he didn't have the
Turkey, and he says the thing like, my turkey is unusually dry. Or something like that.
I've tried everything.
Except basting it, which is the
First
thing you do when you
try.
cook a turkey.
It was declining the title of Iron Cook and instead opting for Zinc Saucier, which he just made up because it's twice the prize money. Like, I hope they honored that. And actually, it would be kind of nice if they had stratifications where you have the Iron Chef, but then could you break it down into other things like
Is zinc one below iron?
on the periodic chart?
I don't know.
Well, he said it's double the prize money, or quadruple the prize money, so you would think it would be higher. Right?
But it's
I
a
don't think-
lesser title.
Yeah.
But I think that's also just the way Bender wants to manipulate the situation.
Sure.
I mean, let's go look at what supplements cost. What's more expensive, zinc or iron?
Probably about the same if you're buying them in supplement form because it's mostly
Probably.
just inactive ingredients.
GNC has a lot of sales where you can get two for the price of one. Or like BOGO. I don't know. I've never been to GNC.
And those guys will not leave you alone until you buy all of them.
And ultimately, Zoidberg cannot live with the guilt and confesses in the most horrible way. He's just he can't do anything right.
No.
The sword just crumpling against his exoskeleton. It's just
But that's when Zoidberg is at his best because he destroys the sword that is way more expensive
than the
It's
$10
worth,
bottle.
$10,000 sword, and
It was $5,000.
$5,000 sword. Yeah, and he destroys it, and then he just goes up. I'm Zoidberg. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Takes off. And it all comes down to the essence of flavor just being water laced with a bunch of LSD.
Ordinary water with a couple spoonfuls of LSD. And then when he's like,
And then when they're analyzing it, and they go, "Oh, there was no LSD at all," and then they go, "Oh wait, no, it was a whole bunch."
and then Bender at the end is like, "Who wants brunch?" with a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
And they all cheer. And then the best thing, I was like, oh, maybe, I don't know what I thought at the end, but then when they started playing psychedelic,
They started
end
playing
music,
Sunshine of Your Love. And I was wondering about that. Is that song particularly associated with LSD, or is it just because it's a 60s jam, man?
It's
Probably both.
cheap. Cheap
You
60s
think?
song.
You think it's cheap? That's Eric Clapton.
It's cream, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably cheap. Or like I said, I think last week that something they already had the rights to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Safety Dance.
Yep.
Yeah. Very, very strong end to a mixed season.
Not according to Dan.
No?
No,
You didn't like it?
I mean, the episode for me starts off as strongest. The first, the first third of the episode is when it's at its best, and it just petered out for me. I did not care for this ending because I don't
'Cause you hate
fucking care
Jack
about
Bruce?
cooking shows. But I mean,
But I think the jokes are they're still there. I didn't care about cooking shows, but I thought it was still very funny all the way through.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I laughed way more at the first third of this episode than I did at the last 2/3 of this episode.
I mean, clearly I had a lot of baggage about Iron Chef in the first place, but I think all of the B story stuff with Zoidberg and everything,
Yeah.
it was just It was solid.
Oh yeah.
All the way through, almost to the point where the actual Bender parts are the least important parts of it for me. Yeah, he's driving the narrative, but he was almost inconsequential to the parts that were really, really good. If that makes any sense.
Nothing on this podcast makes sense,
No.
Pete.
Well, I tried.
It kind of makes sense.
I
I don't know.
don't know. I think it's a very funny episode.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a good episode. They're all good episodes. I'm the biggest fan of this show. So
Clearly, because you walk in without notes and you're just like, oh yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I've never
pulling
come in
off
with
jokes.
notes. I watched all these episodes so many times. Haven't probably watched this episode in a year or two, but I still love it and think it's hysterical all the way through.
Yeah.
It was a good scene. Yeah, it was nice. I think it's great that you guys both came and were able to share this experience with us.
Season 3.
Yeah, end of season 3 of the Futurama, end of season 3 of Slurmcast. Thank you for guest hosting these last 3 weeks, Bill. It has been an honor and I'd say pleasure.
Tommy just broke everything.
Say pleasure, but
All right, hold on. I think it's
There you go.
but
fixed.
that's
There we go.
maybe a little creepy. We will have you back as soon
we'll
as
have
humanly
you.
possible.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
And then thank you for being a guest, Dan,
Yeah.
for your three-peat appearance.
of cake.
And we should give you extra credit for being able to jump in at the last minute because our
As you
originally
always do.
yes, but our not the first time, but our originally scheduled guest was going to be Dan Miller, who's closed out the last 2 seasons with us, and he
He's
was
supposed
in
to be the closer, but
yeah, he was in a terrible motorcycle accident. He's okay, but yeah, it was really scary there for a minute. So hopefully he's on the mend and back up and running again soon.
hopefully they'll find the person that hit him because the guy took off too.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, really terrible. So if you are in the Cleveland area and know somebody who's got a truck with a motorcycle-shaped dent in it, that's probably him. Call the cops. On that note, do you have anything to plug, Bill?
Yeah, this is the week of Accidental Comedy.
Accidental Comedy Festival starts today, August 29th.
And I will be with Dave Hill at Hilarities on the 30th.
Yep.
And that's at Hilarities. Go to hilarities.com for all the dates on that. And then just follow me on Instagram, Twitter, at Bill Squire.
Dan?
Those T-shirts are really cool.
They're great.
Yeah.
OK Pants does awesome work.
Yeah, I'm excited. I got passes for the weekend, so I've turned in my size, and hopefully it's there waiting for me.
It will be.
Yes. How about you, Dan? Anything to plug or tell people about? They can find you on the internet.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SuperDan042.
Perfect. We can be reached at slurmcast.com, where all of our episodes are hosted with links to information on our guests and things like our TeePublic shop. You can email us at slurmcastpod@gmail.com.
I bought a shirt.
You did.
I bought the Reservoir Dogs shirt.
I think we got a notification about that. Thank you, Bill.
That was me.
That's sweet.
The what else? Instagram and Twitter, at slurmcastpod. You can call us or text us at 216-438-1077.
That's all.
Is that everything?
I think that's everything.
Just rate and review us on iTunes, please. We really appreciate you listening, and we love to hear from you. We will be starting season 4 shortly, so keep your ears.
A lot of
and
new stuff
pod feeds
happening.
Open.
A lot
Yes.
of new stuff going to be happening.
There's going to be some twists and turns. People, have a great week. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.